Well, I am not surprised of the fact that after 3 months of the elections, we have a rather huge popularity for the government and some difficulties for the opposition. When you lose the elections, you are in difficulties. When you win the government, you have 3, 4, 5 months of huge popularity. I think time is working from this point of view, and that the awareness on the Italian public opinion that all these promises were a little bit exaggerated and in some cases totally fake is growing. The PD needs to rebuild his own strength. We cannot make anything without a new strength of the PD, but at the same time we need a broader alliance, because the message should be that all reasonable forces, not only the forces of the left, but all reasonable forces that are aware of the risk that this country is having, and not only on economy, also on the public speech, on hate against migrants, they should be countered by a broad alliance.
What is the horrendous tragedy of the Morandi Bridge in Genoa done to the psyche of the country? What has it done? How has it changed the political debate as well? Because, of course, there are those in the government now who are saying it is all the fault of austerity. It is the fault of previous governments. It is the fault of the very close relationship that business and families have with government as well. How do you think it's moved the debate on to actually looking at, in a soul-searching way at how Italy is run?
I think that some of these reactions are a demonstration of how bad is the public debate in our country. Because, you know, when the government face such a tragedy, normally it should try to unite the country around common values, sorrow for the victims and united to rebuild the situation. We had, in fact, a lot of blaming the previous government, forgetting the fact that one of the main forces in the actual government, Salvini, were the government that gave to the company running this highway the rules that they have. It was the government of Berlusconi and Salvini. It was not our government. But they blamed the previous government and they divided the country. It's a mistake. You have to react to such a tragedy that is creating enormous problem to the biggest Italian port, Genoa, because the bridge is not only the fact that we have 43 victims, it's the fact that you have a huge, large city completely divided, and the port is divided from the logistic behind the port. And so we have to rebuild Genoa connectivity, and we have to do this together, not putting your finger against the previous government and transforming a national tragedy in a political game.
But would the best legacy over the longer term from the tragedy, would it be that Italy looks to build itself from the bottom up structurally, infrastructure-wise as well, carries out some reforms that actually meant that actually it was competitive in a 21st century way rather than looking at 20th century business practices?
Yes, we have for sure to invest in our infrastructures. By the way, I can say that this is not only an Italian problem, it's for sure an American problem, it's for sure a problem in several countries. I am not saying that we will have such tragedies, but the necessity to invest in renewal and maintenance of infrastructures is a general one. We have a good highway system in our countries, but in some cases we need strongly to invest there, especially in the south of our country. So we need money to invest and less red tape on investment. This is one of the challenges of our country. We have too much red tape on investment, too much bureaucracy.
Is Italy on the verge of the next leg of populism if the population is disappointed with this current government? Do we go to the next level where actually there is a danger where Italy could want a complete withdrawal from the EU, from European Commission dominance as well, or influence as well, some form of Italian Brexit, an Italexit?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that the alternative to this government could ever be something more extremistic and more anti-Europe than the present government. I think that the alternative will be a government committed, obviously, to change Europe, but to change Europe to make Europe stronger, not to change Europe to make each single state stronger against the European project. Because this is the situation we have now. Every single country, not everyone, but several single countries, putting their own interest first before the European common interest, and this is weakening Europe. And the weakening of Europe is a risk for multilateralism, and even, to use strong words, for the world peace, because Europe is a factor of peace and could be a factor of peace, a major factor of peace. If every single country is finger pointing to its neighbor, I think we did a lot of mistake 1 century ago, and I think that we cannot repeat the tragedy of the sleepwalkers of the beginning of the last century.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.